This is the 47th anniversary of the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki by the USA. 200,000 people were exterminated instantly, and over the ensuing 47 years, hundreds of thousands more were slowly wiped out. She's a doctor, as I said. I gave her my ticket to go to Japan for Hiroshima so that she would understand better. I wonder if the ethical status of humankind has improved. Can we say that because the U.S. generals did not order their troops to strangle and dismember the enemy by hand, that they were more humane, having merely flown a plane and pressed a button? Can we say that higher ethical plane when that freedom means freedom only for the oil? I missed it. Reread it.
Louise left her glasses at home. Is that okay, Louise? Can we say that because the USA bombs only in the service of freedom, that it is on a higher ethical plane when that freedom means freedom only for the oil, nuclear, and weapons industries? Can we say that because 127 years ago slavery was abolished, that we are now a more humane nation when millions sleep in the streets?
Three, two, one. Stop nuclear testing. 3, 2, 1. Stop nuclear testing. How's the sound, person? Have we stopped nuclear testing yet? Well, I can tell you one thing. After today's show, we certainly are going to stop nuclear testing. I want to welcome all of you to Politically Correct Cooking, a show about two of my favorite things, food and politics. Now, our guest tonight, a real special couple. The introduction, I was thinking about it. They need no last names. If you've heard of Joseph and Mary, if you've heard of Cher and Madonna, if you've heard of Bill and Hillary, you'll know why. They are known throughout the local area as John and Louise. John and Louise, come on down. All right, it's so wonderful to have you on the show.
Thank you for the introduction.
John.
Good to see you.
All right, some old friends here from way back, working together in the struggles for peace and justice and the struggles for not stepping on microphone cords. Now, what do we have going on? We've got green peppers, tomatoes, eggplants, zucchinis, all sorts of stuff. What's on the menu today?
Well, the first thing is that we have an international assortment of vegetables, and we believe that they indicate that we believe in things that should be interracial.
We're making ratatouille is what we're going to do.
Ratatouille, okay.
And this is a delicious dish of vegetables. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pot on the stove. This is live on tape, by the way, folks. Turn this thing over. This is a halogen stove. Turning it over to medium. This is an olive oil canola mixture. That's for the flavor. I put a little bit in there because we're going to save a little bit toward the end, too, because this really makes that flavor move. Got some garlic here, fresh garlic, none of the canned stuff, and we'll just smash it up a little bit and put it right in there.
She's quite a cook.
Yeah, well,
is there anything you want us to do over here?
Yeah. Shouldn't we be cutting over here, John?
There it goes. Okay, making noises. Yes. Why don't you start, Jose, slicing some
green peppers,
and you slice this eggplant that's already started, Louise. What we're going to do, folks, is layer this in here. And Louise was talking about international vegetables. This is an Italian dish that sounds French, but most of the vegetables in it come from the New World. This wouldn't have been around before Columbus. You have peppers, which is a New World vegetable, and tomatoes, and squash. So if it weren't for the Native American horticulturalists, we wouldn't be able to enjoy pizza, for example, or ratatouille. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook this in here for just a second. Get it started good so that it sizzles. I've already cut the onions up so that the onions don't make you cry. And what we're going to do is we're going to start layering these vegetables in the pot.
Now, while we're getting ready to do that, the organization that you founded, that you're involved with, the Hiroshima Nagasaki Committee, can you fill us in on what the focus is of the group and what you all do?
We did found it here in Washington, one of the first to have been founded anywhere in Hiroshima, and that was in 1962. And
Louise, I need them
smaller?
half moons. No, I need them like this. Like this.
Oh, you said a half an inch only.
Right, exactly. Just like that. That's what I
And
want.
you're going to
attention
use
to the
this.
chef.
Jose,
All right.
you want to give me those green peppers?
How
We're
are
going to
they?
start to layer them. That's fine.
Okay.
We'll start doing another one, too, because we got an extra big one there. So start doing
Okay.
that next one.
You've
Just
got
keep
that?
them coming.
Oh,
You're the guy in charge. You're wearing the chef's hat.
I'm not in charge. All
You
I'm
tell
doing
us
is
what
trying
you
to
want.
make something delicious here and make sense out of this crazy world, too. We started the Hiroshima Committee back in, it was 1981. It was founded by the Gray Panthers, and we've been working really hard ever since. We always remember the anniversary of the atomic bombing in order that, hopefully, that we will never have another nuclear war. And that's the message of the survivors, and that's the message that we try to carry. And as long as we have nuclear weapons, there's always going to be a risk, and ultimately there will be another world war. And this time, instead of 2 cities, it could be the entire world. So we take our task very seriously. Give me some more peppers here.
Okay, you got
Keep
them.
them coming. Here, give
You
me
got
a few
'em.
more, Jose.
Okay,
Louise, are you almost
I'm
ready with
rolling
that
away here.
eggplant? Okay, good.
but this one's going to be different because this is the way I would have made it, little cubes.
Okay, that's
Okay,
fine.
well-
We'll put those cubes in there, and they'll taste just as good. But what we usually do is just
Ratatouille is
put
a
them
combination
slices.
of all sorts of ingredients and cooks and food, and whatever happens, in the end, it's going to be like world
Absolutely
peace.
delicious.
Really good.
That's right.
Okay.
Much of this was produced, of course, by the American
Okay,
Indians.
that's fine, Jose. Now let's get started on some tomatoes, Louise. Finish that up there, and let's get some started on some tomatoes and some zucchinis here.
Now, how would you like these sliced? This way? Little pieces? Or
Cut it in half first, and then slice them half-inch, just exactly the way that Louise did the eggplant.
Okay.
And then, Louise, you can start slicing little rounds of zucchinis, yellow squash. And that's fine.
How am I doing, big
These are
guy?
ready.
Yeah, you're doing fine. We need to get that eggplant next, though, and we need to get that... Actually, put those tomatoes on a plate, Jose. You start on the yellow squash, because we need that next.
Okay, and how do you want this sliced?
So boom, 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 like half
Okay.
dollars, all the way down.
Now,
When we talked about the script earlier on, we were going to talk about, what the task at hand is, which
And
is a comprehensive test ban. And right now we've stopped testing basically for the time being. But what's going to happen on July the 1st is that the U.S. government is free to start testing again, and that's really unfortunate. What we really need to be doing is to be putting a lot of pressure to bear on the Clinton administration to say, we don't want to start testing again, because certainly the Russians don't want to start testing again. The French have stopped testing. The British have stopped testing. So right now the Chinese are the only ones that are testing. And if that's a good first step. Once we've got that out of the way, then we can start to focus on the next big hurdle, which is renegotiating the non-proliferation treaty.
Well, that won't cost so much. What costs money is testing. So I think, and it costs to the environment, so we want to concentrate on
All right,
that.
I want some yellow squash now.
okay, we got some
And then
yellow
let's get
squash waiting for
started
you.
on
here.
these tomatoes
Beautiful.
here, Jose.
Okay. More tomatoes.
That's fine.
Now, with the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty, the Non-Proliferation Treaty, even with the end of, I guess, the so-called evil empire, the arms race is not over. As a matter of fact, it seems like the world might even be a more dangerous place with the various third world countries starting to expand on their nuclear programs. I understand North Korea is on the verge of having a nuclear device if they don't have one already. A couple of years ago, Pakistan and
all the way
India,
through, Louise. All the way through.
Pakistan and India almost had a
Jose, give me
confrontation.
some more tomatoes now.
More
Come on.
okay.
Let's talk and work at the same time here.
Yes, sir.
Well, I agree with you entirely, and Louise, I know that Louise agrees too. And basically, well, the problem with the Non-Proliferation Treaty is the deal was that the superpowers would approve the comprehensive test ban and stop testing and also take concrete steps toward nuclear disarmament. And that's what the problem is now. I mean, North Korea is building a bomb. Why should North Korea build a bomb? Because South Korea's got hundreds of U.S. nuclear weapons along the demilitarized zone. And every year, right now, in the springtime of the year, the U.S. and South Korea have these gigantic military exercises, which are the largest military exercises in the entire world, called Team Spirit. And if I was a military commander in North Korea, I'd be mighty anxious too. So, I mean, that's the problem. As long as the U.S. and Russia and China and Great Britain and France and so on continue to maintain their nuclear arsenals, why should the other nations say, well, we'll sign the Non-Proliferation Treaty? The key is the comprehensive test ban. Once we stop making nuclear weapons, once the superpowers, once the nuclear powers start getting rid of their nuclear weapons, I think that we'll have no problem getting the Non-Proliferation Treaty passed.
Anything else you want to slice, sir? The rest of the zucchini or more tomatoes? Or?
Well, actually, it's fine. We don't want more tomatoes now, but what we can do is start at the other end again and start giving me some more pepper.
Okay.
I'll take
now,
those
this
here.
is a layered dish?
Yes, it is a layered dish. And Louise, what I want you to do here is the same thing you did with the other eggplant. You can hold off on that tomato now, because I need some more when we put it on at the end.
Now, the comprehensive test ban that you're talking about, how realistic is it?
Ask Louise that, because Louise has been working at this a lot longer than I have.
Well, Louise?
Well, it's difficult because it's done secretly. You know, they're supposed to know about what each country's doing, but there's so many countries today working on a bomb and taking lessons from us, except that they're not letting anybody know about it. However, I don't know how much other people ever knew about what we were doing. All we knew was that it cost us a fortune to test, and that the corporations were making all the profits on it. So
I'll take that green pepper now, Jose. Let's move on that.
If you had stock, you put plenty of money in your stock, be sure it is nuclear weapons. Or any kind of weapons, for that matter, but especially nuclear.
So the situation that we're facing in the world today, the end of the evil empire, the U.S. now is like the sole
evil empire left, more or less.
More or less.
If you want to be absolutely candid, and that's a big problem. As long as we have this attitude, our government has this attitude, I don't know how much progress we're going to make. I think that it's a changed world, and it's about time that the political leadership really started changing attitudes and started facing the fact that it is a new world, and that the Cold War is over, and that these nuclear weapons are not toys, and that as long as they're around, sooner or later they're going to be used. And this time around, it may be more than just two cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It may be the whole world.
Okay.
And of course, at the same time, our children are suffering. People are getting cancer. They don't know really where it's coming from. However, we have an idea that the whole universe, the whole world is now subjected to those things that would weaken the body's basic immune system.
There's a lot of problems. I know with your involvement with Hiroshima.
With the tomato now. I need this zucchini done here.
Okay.
Chopped, and the tomato.
I know with your involvement with the Hiroshima Nagasaki committee, in your knowledge of what's going on, the aftermath of the explosion, a lot of cancers, a lot of problems with kids, with the survivors. Also, not just that, the environmental problems associated with nuclear weapons. If you go to the Soviet Union or the ex-USSR, whole areas are devastated.
Or Hanford, Washington, or Savannah River,
State,
Georgia.
Savannah River.
And we're talking about huge amounts of money, too. So when we think about the deficit and so on, we need to think about the massive amounts of money it's going to take to clean things up. So we need to really seriously start thinking about stopping building them, getting rid of them, and using the money to clean up the mess, because that's really our only chance if we're going to get out of this alive. And we're not there yet, folks, believe me.
We were in the Soviet Union, you know, and we saw the results
let's
of
have some
testing
tomatoes
there.
now. Come on.
Yes,
They-
sir. You got them?
Chop, chop.
We went to a little town close to the place where the nuclear power plant was, Chernobyl, and there we saw children up on the balcony who were not allowed to come down with us. They were very pallid. But others that were healthy could come down and talk to us.
Okay, give me the rest of the tomatoes. Put
Here
them on
you
a plate
go.
and give them to me.
And I'll tell you what, here's the rest of the tomatoes. We have to go to a commercial break because we have bills to pay. Folks at home, I want you to pay attention to the commercial. We got interesting stuff. Actually, as a matter of fact, we're going to be showing you a video. So let's go to the video. We'll see you soon. Don't go away.
Oh.
Bye-bye.
The bomb is dropped at 8:15. In dazed agony, the citizens seek refuge. They congregate on the riverbanks of the Delta, only to die there in droves.
Well, you've just witnessed the horrors of nuclear war. It's destruction, death, it's dirty, it's ugly. If we don't want that to happen again, what can we do?
Listen to Martin Luther King, because he said, we can't have peace without justice. We must have justice and peace, and no war. He also has told us that we must remember that the poor and the helpless need assistance. And they have rights and they have needs. So we must be sure that they do get the opportunity to express their needs and express their hopes. Right here at Martin Luther King Fair, which accompanies the Hiroshima evening, we will have tables representing those and people representing those needs for children and for the aged and for everyone. So if we hope that we have many tables to represent homes for the homeless, food for those who need it, medical care with medical attention by a prepayment from one group, not just scattered papers. And we want those needs that are the most necessary answered by our government and by the people behind the government.
Okay. While you were talking, John lifted up the pot there. Beautiful sounds, beautiful
look.
smells.
Oh,
it looks great.
Tender eyes.
We're going to keep the top off for a couple minutes while we wrap it up, and that's going to let some of the liquid boil down a little bit, but it's cooking pretty good here now.
It smells delicious.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, before we try the food, I want you to tell the folks at home what can an individual do to stop the madness that we're drowning in.
Well, I think what we can do is what's in our own heart. We need to educate ourselves about what's going on in the world. Robert J. Lifton, who is the psychiatrist that did the studies on the Holocaust victims, also did studies on the victims of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And he said, keeping alive Hiroshima's death may help keep us alive. And that's what we do every year. And Louise and I and literally hundreds of volunteers work every year to keep alive the horror of Hiroshima and Nagasaki so that possibly, just possibly, we can avoid a nuclear catastrophe which this time would engulf the entire world. So I really encourage folks, give us a call, get in touch, because we need to start volunteering now.
Okay.
Thank you,
Truer
John.
words have never been said. Now, for the high point of the evening, are we ready to try your creation here, sir?
It's now or never, as the song
Okay.
goes.
I'm ready to go.
And this is ratatouille right here.
It's almost indigenous, isn't it?
Almost.
Almost.
Jose?
Well, I will try some first. Let me
And
give
you've
you
got a
plate
little
here.
bit of bread here. We got
There's a
some
plate
cheese
for
here
Louise.
too. Maybe you can
Okay.
help serve.
Okay.
And
We'll
Louise?
break bread like they do in northern Italy. Give Louise a little bit of bread here, too.
So did you
And-
come from northern Italy?
No, I came from southern Panama, believe it or not.
Southern Panama. There we go.
Okay,
Well-
excellent. And you don't want to leave the chef out?
Oh no,
I was
chef,
in,
best for last.
I was in Puerto Rico when the bomb fell,
Oh,
and it wasn't mentioned.
Okay.
it wasn't mentioned at all?
It wasn't mentioned.
Now
to
some
us.
forks and a
Absolute
little bit of
quiet.
bread here. Excuse
We're
me.
all set.
Okay, let's try the ratatouille.
Okay. Now, the ratatouille.
Oh, I'm ravishing
Okay.
for ratatouille.
All right now.
1, 2.
No faking it here.
Uh-oh,
It's
hot.
delicious. How is it?
Not too bad for
Folks at
television.
home, you don't know what you're missing. Now, while we're enjoying this delicious meal, I understand that you're going to have an opportunity to go to Hiroshima soon.
Oh, I hope so. John and a number of people are working on that to send 3 of us over there to attend the meetings and the workshops and to meet the people and to have us talk ourselves where we will have that opportunity.
Now, your organization has had numerous opportunities in the past with survivors
Yes.
of Hiroshima
Yes,
and Nagasaki.
We've welcomed the Bakusha here many times and gotten them on television and radio, and this time Louise is going there, and she's going to be carrying 2,000 paper cranes, 1,000 for Hiroshima, 1,000 for Nagasaki, folded by the children of the Washington, D.C. area. So this is going to be a lot of fun for Louise and a great opportunity for her to take our message there.
To a lot of our viewers who might not be familiar with the meaning of the paper cranes, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Oh, John's fabulous. He can make them very easily. They're very tiny and they look like birds, and their little wings fly out.
And they
Because
are
made of paper mache.
and the reason
Very
for
fine
these
paper.
cranes was there was a survivor of Hiroshima who was suffering from cancer.
Sadako Sasaki.
Sadaka.
And she folded 657 and she died, and then her classmates folded the rest of the 1,000, which is supposed to bring good luck. And so there's a monument to the children, the victims, and people from around the world take paper cranes to the statue for the children who were killed in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And that's what Louise is going to be doing. She's going to be speaking in front of the World Conference against ANH bombs, and she'll be giving a major address there, and we're working on that right now. And she's going to be visiting some of the Gray Panthers. Louise is a Gray Panther. And she's going to be visiting some other activists throughout Japan. And she's going to be going with Rick Tingling Clemens, who isn't here tonight, but he's a good cook too. You want to get him someday, Jose.
He's here with spirit. He's here with us in spirit.
Yes, indeed, and he's going to be going with Louise, and so the two of them are going to do a good job.
Okay. Now, the events that you sponsor, I know every year the Hiroshima Nagasaki Committee keeps the memory alive of the death of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Pretty much in the past, you've had events at the Lincoln Memorial, at the pool that they have there. You have like
the
floating
memorial pool.
Right, floating candles.
Floating candles by the children. And Joe Butler, who you know is running for statehood for Washington.
She's very active in that.
She always helps with the children, and she will be helping this year too.
Yes, indeed, and the children also perform. So we have cultural performances. The largest crowd we've ever had was about 5,000 people. That was on the 40th anniversary, and one of the reasons Louise is going now is to get ready for the 50th anniversary of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and we really need to take this opportunity in history, this unique opportunity, to really turn things around, because we can't get comfortable now that the arms race is over.
It's not over.
It's not over. I mean, this program is almost over, but the arms race goes on.
The arms race is percolating, just like the food, the ratatouille.
Right.
That's right. And so if you come to the remembrance this year, and I hope you steer your vacations before that time or after, you know, it's the 5th of August. And usually a warm day, but we bring our lunches and have a wonderful time together.
Okay. Well, I want to thank John.
Thank
you so
Jose.
much. We had a wonderful time. The food was delicious.
And we had a wonderful
Louise,
time.
thank you. So wonderful to have you here talking to us. Tell us about what's going on.
Well,
I just hope that I'm as active as you are when I'm 20 years younger than you, because you're just a bundle of energy and...
Well, usually, but not always.
Well.
However, this year, when I come back from Hiroshima, I hope I see you then.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Share with you some
Thank you so
good
much for
things.
joining us.
Thank
and you all over at home, you don't know what you're missing. This is delicious. Thanks again. Open wide, open wide. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We have heard about the terrible effects of the bomb. What did you see on your way back to your home?
I was getting hot, so I went down to the roof. Countless dead bodies were carried away by the water, sinking and floating. Some of the bodies were cut, and their intestines were exposed. I came to the water tank. Those who had wished they would die one on top of another, poking their head into the water. Another, who was bloody all over, was trying to rush into the burning house. But the man caught his mother tight and put into the